There's new reporting that apparently House Speaker Mike Johnson may be worried about his slim majority in the House with the upcoming midterms. And he should be worried. He knows how wildly unpopular that budget bill is. That doesn't mean he's gonna change it though. So he apparently warned in private that Senate Republicans could end up costing House Republicans their majority if they try to push through the deep Medicaid cuts in the current Senate version of the bill. That's according to 3 different people. Now, notably, they're still moving forward with that version. He's just worried that it might end up hurting them. And I want to be very clear about what's happening here. So senators are saying we're gonna get creamed if the House's drastic cuts to Medicaid go through. And meanwhile, Mike Johnson's saying we're gonna be creamed if the Senate's drastic cuts to Medicaid. It's just the Spider-Man meme. They're just like, no, it's not me, man, it's you. This is the most transparent thing ever. They both know how wildly unpopular these things are, that they're gonna throw like 10, 11 million people off their Medicaid. And they just don't want to be held responsible for it. They want to be able to, in the run up to the midterms, point at the other chamber of Congress and be like, be mad at them. I hope the American people are smart enough to know that that's BS. Now, some of the cuts they wanted to make, they will not be allowed to, at least presently, because of that damn Senate parliamentarian who weirdly is very powerful historically. So the Senate's referee rejected a plan to cap states' use of healthcare provider taxes to collect more federal Medicaid funding that would have offloaded spending, hundreds of billions of dollars of spending from the federal government to the states. They're not gonna be allowed to do that. That blows a nearly $250 billion hole in the bill's budget math. Now, does that seem like a really difficult thing to fix? No, actually, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. You know what you could do? Reduce the amount of tax breaks you give to the wealthy by $250 billion and you're done. You'd be good. I got news for you. They're not gonna do that. They're still gonna give exactly as much in tax breaks. It's just gonna add 250 billion more to the deficit and eventually the national debt. In the meantime, they seem to be fighting each other between the chambers to insult people the most over what they're about to do. Mitch McConnell says that people worried about Medicaid cuts will get over it. You know, when you're thrown off your health insurance and you might die if you get sick, that bothers you for a couple days, but eventually you get over it, according to Mitch McConnell. A dude who really should be thinking a lot about healthcare these days. He's 1,000 years old and his body is just a patchwork quilt of bruises, but apparently has very little compassion to spare for other people who are worried about their health. Meanwhile, activists have tried to protest outside of the House about these Medicaid cuts, including people in wheelchairs. They have been cuffed with zip ties because of how much of a threat they were. 33 people were arrested because how dare the people come into the people's chamber and remind the speaker of how wildly unpopular what he's doing is. Anyway, that's what's currently going on with the bill. We'll see what ends up happening. Hopefully they get rid of more of those cuts. I don't necessarily predict it though.